Hello and welcome everybody to the Open Bar. I am your host, Steve Straz, the Chief Market Strategist at All Star Charts. We do this show now every Tuesday, right after the morning show, 9:45, 10-ish, depending on when we wrap up. Come on for 30 minutes, talk about the market, talk about what we're seeing, what are we trading today. I'll tell you, this morning we're selling a double in our Microsoft calls. So I figured we'd jump in, maybe talk about how we do that. There's not much, to say here. Then I want to show you guys a brand new tech tool that members use on our rangefinder app. It's called our Squeeze Engine. So you can go and scan based on our volatility squeeze indicator now. A nice live dashboard updated with live prices. So that's cool. You could see what are the tightest coils every day and all day in real time. So we'll go there, check out some tight coils today, look at some trades. But what's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. This is the S&P 500. The market is back in rally mode. I mean, we had this little range here. We talked about it over the past couple of weeks, how you had this wide range, wide body candle from October 10th. And that was the range until it wasn't, right? And bulls won again, as we expected, forced an upside resolution. And if you look at any of the major averages, it's the same story. So I probably would have guessed it would have taken a little bit longer, but boom, they're coming out of these ranges with authority. When you see these kinds of breakaway gaps, big momentum on a breakout, right? This is a range breakout. You could see it most clearly maybe in this chart of the S&P 500, right? We gap higher again. I mean, it's gap city out here. That's what you want to see at a big level. That's what you want to see when the bulls and bears are fighting it out. Somebody win decisively, right? You want a clear winner there. You don't want to be like, oh, it's kind of a breakout, but momentum didn't get overbought. Boom, breakaway gap. We're getting overbought on momentum. It looks like right here. This is looking pretty good. Unless this action fails miserably over the coming days, I really don't think it's going to the way things are going. I think we're in the clear and the bulls are back in control. So what's up, chat? Everybody, if you're local to South Florida, be sure to join us for happy hour tonight in Bonita Springs. Trade to fly, Florida. Love it. He was in the Microsoft trade. Matthew Gamble, what criteria would you... Now, we talk about that on our members calls. The nitty gritty, right? Our portfolio maintenance and management. We talk about all that, but I'll tell you, we're rarely rolling. Yep. Rarely roll. Been experimenting with the vertical roll, though. Taking a little money off the table, rolling out into higher priced options, the same expiration, lower cost basis, right? Similar exposure profile. So we talk about all of those things, Matthew, on our members call on Thursdays. Risky business. Rachel. What's up, Rachel? AJ, Fonz from the other room. What's up, Salsi? We're going to miss you tonight. Yeah, what a appearance by Alfonso de Pavlos, the MVP on the morning show today. We do like to have fun on that show. Sometimes the chat gets going, oh, more charts. Let's talk about food and sports. I'm sorry. We gotta enjoy ourselves and, talk about sports every now and then. I'll talk about food all day. You guys know me. But we're talking about charts here today. So back to the Microsoft. What's up, Billy? My thoughts on Amazon are like, all the other ones are working. All the other Mag 7s are working. When's Amazon going to break out? The answer is probably now. When's earnings? Coming up here, right? Earnings coming up in a few days, I believe, in the Amazon, Friday? No, not Friday, is it? They're doing on Friday morning, I guess. So that's interesting. Amazon taking back VWAP from the pivot high here. Looks like it's coming out of this range. You guys all can see this range, right? I don't even need to draw it. Nice little coil. Cool. Looks like we're coming out of it. And then you got a bigger breakout, right? That you could use maybe for confirmation. I would probably go a little longer term on this one. Give it time to develop and break through this big resistance level here, right? But Amazon does look good. It looks good. And I'll tell you, it's bullish from an intermarket standpoint. What do I mean by that? Amazon is in a basket of stocks, the biggest growth stocks in the world, right? So let's just look through them one at a time. Apple, breaking out. I'm going to flip it, Spencer. Apple, breaking out, beautiful. Look at that squeeze indicator. This one's popping as we speak. Tesla, really nice coil. Look at the squeeze indicator coming out of it as we speak. Looks great. NVIDIA, really nice coil. Look at that squeeze indicator. Volatility's been tight for many, many months since this summer. This is the case with a lot of the Mag 7s coming out of this coil, making new all-time highs. Microsoft, wow, right? Back at new all-time highs basically today. This morning on this OpenAI, $250 billion purchase agreement. What are some other ones? Who did I miss? Let's look at an honorable mention like Broadcom, Avago. Look at this nice coil coming out of it. So then you got to think, oh, and Google. Don't forget the Google and the Meta. Coil, resolved. Meta, close. This one would be most like Amazon, I'd say, right? I think Meta's going to go. So you would look at all of the peers of Amazon and say, well, if all the other Mag 7 names are breaking out of coils, making new all-time highs, Amazon, it's highly likely that Amazon goes to. This is a bull market, right? Amazon's going to catch some of that rotational flow, I would imagine. So I do like Amazon to answer your question. Back to Microsoft real quick. We got in. Let's just walk through it and why. So Microsoft was in this nice little range we had here, right? Looked like a top, wasn't a top. That was the April lows. We surged off of them. This was a tough trade to get into, right? Take a look off of the April lows. This thing just was just slowly grinding higher, slow drip higher. Awesome. The Mag 7s tend to do that. But then we consolidated, right? So that was the earnings candle. We spiked, had a little blow off local top on earnings back on July 31st. And for the entire last quarter, this thing's been coiled up. Let's draw that coil, right? However you want, doesn't really matter. It's more about the essence of the supply and demand that creates the pattern, right? Than drawing some sort of diagonal line perfectly. Don't care about that. And look at this squeeze indicator. It's really as good as it gets. This thing has been down on the ground since June, right? Because there was no volatility, even on the end of the uptrend coming into here. I mean, the volatility was absolutely dead. So this thing, has had compressed volatility since the beginning of the summer, and now we're just now breaking out to new all-time highs. The reason we put the trade on, we like to jump these coils in bull markets, right? So we had the VWAP from the pivot highs here, and look, we're above the VWAP already from that July high, right? So the VWAP from the pivot highs, we're paying attention to this one too. We said, okay, we're above it. I believe we put the trade on right Wednesday of last week, maybe the next day. But we've only been in it for whatever it is, 4 or 5 days. Fonz could give the exact details in the chat if you guys want to know. So we got in today. We said, okay, we're in double territory on a big headline, breakaway gap or runaway gap. This is more of a breakaway gap type of move in the morning when something's moving on a press release or a headline and you're getting an outsized gain. Like Microsoft was up, what, 4%, I believe, at the open, more than this. So we came in to the morning with a triple at the open. And that's, we like to sell doubles. So if you come in and you got a triple, sure. Could it run? Of course. But we are in the business of getting our money back as quickly as possible. That's how we keep the lights on. That's the energy, that's the fuel for the system, right? I want to get my capital back and redeploy it somewhere else. I want to get some capital back and put it somewhere else. I want to get more capital back. We're back in rally mode. The bulls are in control. I got a nice position on Microsoft now. I could sell half and still keep the other half. I'm exposed to Microsoft, leveraged upside with Microsoft. And I could take that and maybe buy some Tesla, right? Buy a little something else. What else might we want to buy? Well, let me show you. So I sold that triple at the open here this morning. Now, if I'm looking, look at the squeeze score on Microsoft. What is this? What are we looking at? This is a squeeze engine, okay? Sneak peek, behind the scenes look. This is what members see in our members dashboard. We're going to add a couple more columns. We're going to have a short-term squeeze score, long-term squeeze score, maybe a little momentum score in the future. Basically, this allows members to come in. We're handing them a loaded gun and we're aiming it for them. They just got to shoot, right? So these are the best coils in the market. Let's take a look at some of them. We've already looked at Microsoft, right? Just beautiful. And let's actually just look at it this way with the squeeze indicator. Look at that coil. That's the moment where we want to get in, right? You see that crossover. You see volatility start to surge off of like literally one of the lowest level Microsoft has seen in recent years. That's exactly the setup we want. What are some other things with a high squeeze score right now? Look at Reddit, all coiled up at a big Fibonacci level. The squeeze indicator at its lowest level, really, of the year, right? You got to scroll way out to find a tighter consolidation for Reddit. How do we enter a trade like this? I'll tell you how. VWAP from the pivot high. We're right there. All right, if this one goes, takes out the VWAP right here around 220, I think it's got 290 written all over it. 295. Reddit has been an incredibly hot stock too. Back to the squeeze engine. Members are going to live here. It's so good. I mean, this is talk about idea generation. It's as good as it gets. This is really the same as the internal system that we've been using forever now. And we just made it into a beautiful little dashboard here with live prices. So who doesn't love that? Let's look at net and let's look at Palantir. Oh, I love seeing Builder First Source on there. I'm gonna get mad if I show you too much. But net and Palantir, love to see that. I'm a big fan of Cloudflare. Love this stock for the long run. Look, the optimal moment to get into this one probably passed a day, maybe 2 days ago, right? But it's still right there. Still right there. If you're looking for some long exposure, I mean, look no further. There are some great names just right now in the squeeze engine. And when you zoom out, look at the squeeze indicator here. I mean, and look at the moves that have been made when it looked this way in the past, right? That's what's important. Go back. See what the squeeze indicator looked like there? Boom, that's what you could have got into. See what the squeeze indicator looked like. Let's go back a little bit here. Right here. Boom, down on the ground. And look, you get that quick pop. You're selling double all day when you get moves like this in this trend. So we see it all the time. Squeeze indicator here, huge pop, right? And when you zoom out enough on the Cloudflare, now we're flipping it to a weekly. So you're going to see the long-term squeeze score in the lower pane now also depressed, right? Also showing highly compressed level of volatility over the long run. But it's really this chart structure that I love. We're coiled up. Markets are fractal, right? So there's two patterns here that I'm very interested. You have the multi-year base, which I'm showing here, right? Which we're literally knocking on the door to right now. This little continuation pattern is going to be the breakout pattern, ideally, right? If you're a bull, for this multi-year base resolution. And then when you drill in, let's flip it back to a daily. You got this short-term pattern, this beautiful little continuation pattern, right? Coming off a nice uptrend. That we could play, call it a bull flag or a bull pennant. Boom, right? So you got the short-term coil within the context of a bigger, just beautiful multi-year base breakout. This stock's about to surge to new all-time highs, right? Blue skies, new all-time highs. There's no price memory there, no real resistance there. So that's how Cloudflare is looking today. I really like this one. And I'll just Palantir, right? Because we talked about the Mag 7s. This is really a Mag 7 at this point. Palantir coming out of a beautiful coil. I guess the theme for today, guys, is simple. It's back to the big caps. It's back to mega cap growth. The Mag 7 names are once again the best stocks in the market. It's really been the case pretty consistently off the April lows. These things are, some of the first to break back out to new all-time highs after this little corrective wave that we had earlier this month. Check out the squeeze indicator and something like Palantir. I mean, this is just so good. What we'll do too, just to give you guys an idea, is we'll consider the long-term squeeze indicator too. So when you look at Palantir, you say, wow, even on the weekly, we haven't been set up like this since last summer, right? So you got evidence of volatility compression on the daily, big evidence, right? You have to go back over a year to see things this tight on the daily. And then it's also true really on a weekly. You got to go back a year to find a situation that was this tight in terms of volatility for what's been probably the best stock this cycle, Palantir. So if you're looking to get in, looking to get some exposure, just looking to put a quick trade on a really, high quality growth stock, look no further than Palantir. I would say the same for something like Net. So just to show you guys one last time, that's it. That's the squeeze engine. We can search by different sectors here, right? We can search by different industry groups here. We could search by only our universe of optionable tickers here. So it's really good. And I think members are going to love it. I wanted to share it with you guys today. And I think really the message is that we're back in rally mode. The bulls are back in control. And the biggest and best stocks are back in the driver's seat. So thank you guys all for joining me. What's up, Bhupinder? Everybody have a great Tuesday.